ever get totally pumped listening to someone talk about their future plans? Like you're right there with them, ready for the adventure?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we're diving into today, how to share your future plans in a way that's not just clear, but seriously captivating. We've got a killer guide on talking about future plans, and get this,
Okay.
we're even going to see how it connects to the English Lemon podcast.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising. But first things first, this guide jumps right into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
It might seem obvious, but using clear language is huge EE.
Right.
Instead of saying something like, well, I'm kind of thinking about maybe going to Italy sometime, you could say, I'm planning a trip to Italy next summer.
Yeah.
See the difference?
That's huge. Just that shift to straightforward language and using the future tense, it suddenly makes your plan feel more real, both for you and for the person you're talking to.
It's night and day, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of making it real, the guide also talks about how important it is to use specific time frames.
Okay.
So instead of just, I want to visit Japan someday, you could say, I'm aiming to explore Japan next spring, maybe catch the cherry blossoms. Suddenly, it's not just a wish, it's an actual plan starting to take shape.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I'm already picturing those cherry blossoms.
Me too. You're painting a picture with those specific details.
Yeah.
It's not just information anymore. You're sharing an experience.
That's such a good point.
It draws people in, makes them feel like they're part of your journey.
Totally. And this is where the guide gets even cooler, I think.
Okay.
It says, one of the best ways to make your future plans even more engaging is to just let your own enthusiasm shine through.
Oh, for sure.
So like if you're telling someone about a project that you're really fired up about, your passion, it's contagious. They're going to get swept up in that energy, even if it's not something they'd normally be that into.
It's like that saying, enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah.
When you genuinely care about something, it shows, and it makes people way more interested.
Totally. It's like you're excited about it, so now I'm excited about it.
Exactly.
So we've got the clarity, the time frame, the excitement, but the guide, it doesn't stop there.
Okay, there's more.
It goes on to talk about how to add even more depth to your plans.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
And this is where things get really interesting. One of the coolest things the guide suggests is actually sharing your process.
Oh, interesting.
So instead of just saying like, oh, I'm moving next month,
Yes.
you could be like, to get ready for my move, I'm decluttering my entire apartment this weekend. Maybe we could even do a clothing swap.
Oh, I love that.
It's like you're not only giving people a glimpse into what you're doing, but also opening up all these little opportunities for connection, even collaboration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel more tangible, too. Less intimidating,
Right.
And it's subtly inviting people to offer support or advice, which can be really valuable.
So true. And speaking of inviting people in, the guide also talks about acknowledging challenges.
Okay.
And this might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but the guide's saying that actually admitting that things might be tough, it shows you're being realistic. You've actually thought things through.
Right. Right.
Like, say you're starting a new business.
Yep.
Instead of just being like, I'm launching my line of handmade jewelry, you could say, I'm launching a line of handmade jewelry, and I know balancing that with my day job is going to be a juggling act, but I'm determined to make it work.
I like that. It's about being authentic. It's about being vulnerable.
Yeah.
People connect with honesty. People connect with perseverance.
So true.
And by acknowledging those challenges, you're making yourself more relatable. You're creating space for people to share their own experiences.
Totally. Like, we've all been there.
Exactly.
Okay, this next point kind of blew my mind a little bit when I read it.
Okay, what is it?
The guide suggests actually inviting collaboration into your plans.
Interesting.
So instead of just saying, oh, I'm learning to code, which, more power to you, but
Yeah.
it could be like, I'm learning to code and I'm thinking about building an app to help organize community events. Any tech whizzes out there want to collaborate.
I love that.
It's transforming a personal goal into a potential team effort.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens.
Right.
It's the power of collective intelligence, shared enthusiasm.
Yeah.
By inviting other people to contribute their own skills and ideas, it just makes the whole journey more rewarding.
It's like that old saying, right, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
100%.
And then this last part, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and this guide really brought it home for me.
Okay.
It talks about connecting your plans back to your values. So for example, last year, I was learning to code, but instead of just saying that, I started telling people it was because I wanted to build an app to help my grandma connect with her friends more easily online. And suddenly, it wasn't just about learning a new skill,
Right.
It was about something bigger. It was about connecting with my grandma, helping her combat loneliness.
And people probably responded to that way more.
They did. It was way more engaging.
Because it comes from a place of personal meaning.
Exactly. It wasn't just the thing I was doing. It was tied to something I really cared about.
Exactly. And that makes all the difference. It's not just about what you're doing. It's about why it matters to you. And that resonates with people on a much deeper level.
Now, remember that English Lemon snippet we talked about, the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
It might seem totally random, but it actually connects to a really powerful tactic that can make your plans even more impactful. So in this English Lemon snippet, they're talking about, learning English, right?
Right.
But then they do this really interesting thing. They ask their listeners to actually subscribe and turn on notifications so they don't miss any new episodes.
Okay.
It's like this little nudge, a call to action that takes their message beyond just that moment.
And that's the connection to sharing your own future plans. It's like, just like English Lemon is encouraging those specific actions, you can use your plans as a springboard for collaboration, for support.
It's like instead of just saying you're planning a road trip, invite someone to come along.
Exactly.
Or ask for recommendations like, hey, what are some must-see spots?
Yes. Or even just share your excitement, get people buzzing about it with you.
So good. So instead of just announcing your plans, it's like you're turning them into these opportunities for connection, for shared experiences.
It's about moving from broadcasting to engaging.
I love that.
That makes all the difference.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've learned how to actually articulate our plans, clearly with excitement, how to add depth, invite collaboration. We even talked about how to turn those plans into calls to action.
I love it. Because sometimes those are the most exciting destinations, the ones we discover together.
True.